Hi everybody, this is Matt Heuser. I'm the Managing Director of Agile Development. I'm here with my friend David Hoppy. Say hi, David.
Hi, David.
And we're in my office, so let's take a look at some of my books. This is the software development bookshelf. Below that we have the general testing bookshelf. Below that we have the technical bookshelves. Yes, I'm old enough that most of my books have pictures of animals on them. And below that, current interest. And over here we have leadership, a little bit of military science. This is the awards. This is the most influential Agile tested professional person that I got last year, 2 years ago in Germany. And why don't we zoom out and show the whole? So we've got management, we've got business, we've got consulting, philosophy, and literature. When David came over, he actually picked out his favorites that he wanted me to talk about, and let's go through those. Now, there were a few of them that weren't that great, but of the ones I thought were really, really valuable, I'm doing a tutorial at Agile Testing Days in December in Germany on leadership and management. So these are some of the books that I'll be drawing from in that tutorial. Talk about peopleware. It's classic, it's 30 years old. The main premise of peopleware is that people are the most important part of your project's performance. And in fact, your success or failure might have already been decided before you even started based on who you picked for your team. And talks about how to create a gelled team, how to optimize the work environment to treat people humanly. This book was Agile before Agile was a thing. Next up, we have The Goal by Eli Goldratt. This book blew my mind when I read it. In software, we talk about improvement all the time. We're going to improve the test process. We're going to improve the deploy process. Goldratt's actual example was a factory. I know software development isn't a factory, but there are significant parallels to draw. So the basic premise of Goldratt's work is that, say you got a factory with 4 different machines. One can process 50 parts an hour, the next 50, the next 25, and the fourth one 50. And they go in a line, and parts have to go through all 4 machines. You're never going to get more than 25 parts per hour manufactured. So he has a whole theory for how to identify the constraint and then how to improve performance of the constraint. If you're in leadership and you're in management and software development, that's what you want to be doing in order to make the whole system go faster. We don't do it nearly often enough. We're going to do DevOps, but do we even know what the constraint is? Then we have Andy Grove's high output management. Same kind of problem. If I went to 100 people in North America, I can't say for sure about Europe, but in North America, if I went to 100 people and said, what is management? They would say, it's management. It's like stuff. What does that mean? It's recruiting, and it's interviewing, and it's setting budgets, and all of those things do have to happen. But the mental model most people have for management is just dealing with exception conditions. It is responding to emergencies. Grove proposes a different way of thinking about management, that the role of management is to improve the value the subordinates bring, and that the value of the manager is the aggregate, the sum total of all of the work of the people that he reports to, and also their ability to influence their peers. It's an actual explanation of what management is that is consistent and has value, and if you pursue it, you can get better. Waltzing with Bears. If you've ever dealt with a software deadline, and I know we have data now, and we have stories, and we can count up the stories that are being performed and the story points, and you can predict. But all too often, all that stuff gets thrown out the window, and we just go with the deadlines that we're given, and we code really fast, we make a mess. Waltzing with Bears was the first book that talked about schedule risk, kind of the seminal work for risk management for software, and how to look at empirical data, which is previous project performance, to figure out when we think we're actually going to be done. It's fantastic. If you want to lead, you kind of have to have opinions, and those opinions be backed up by more than just your opinion. You're going to have, and Walen and Bears will help you get there. Agile Testing, fantastic book. It's by Crispin and Gregory. I don't think this isn't really a book about how to find the bugs. It isn't a book about how to take a user interface and pull it apart and here are all the different ways to test it. Instead, this book is an introduction to Agile for testers. Specifically, it's a bunch of techniques from story kickoff, iteration planning, unit tests, integration tests, exploratory testing, charters and sessions, user acceptance testing, just a ton of different test techniques you might use, and then advice about when those make sense to use on the project. Help you decide how to set up your own process. And finally, we have Jerry Weinberg's Software Quality Management Series, Volume 1, Systems Thinking, which is, if you've ever seen someone that had an idea that would have an unintended consequence and they just couldn't see it or understand it. One team I was working with was going to be measured by the number of change controls they put in per month. Guess what? Change controls immediately went up. I don't know if software delivered went up. This actually shows you how to model the system of forces and consequences to come up to a better outcome and explain it to others. Volume 2 is on measurement. Instead of pursuing a measure you can control that will be gamed, it's more about how to ask smart questions to come up with numbers to help you understand what's happening. And finally, congruent action. Again, if you're on a project and people are mad, angry, you can't understand, you're always in trouble. You can't, why these people aren't getting along, you don't know how to act, you're scared, this book will help you. Now, you don't have to read all these books. You certainly probably don't have to have a library like mine. What we want to do is invest one day, let's all come together and talk about sort of the best bang for the buck, the highest value for these ideas, to come up with your own description and understanding of what leadership and management in an Agile environment is for you, and a set of ideas to take home to try. I think if we do that, we can add a lot of value really quickly. I'd really like to talk to you about it. I'm going to be in Germany in December. I hope to see you there. Thanks.